just conducted an emergency landing after departing Buttonville Airport on its maiden voyage after its 100-hour inspection. Ibrahim is the pilot involved, and he's here with me right now, and I want to introduce you to him because what he did was exactly what the expectation is for anyone who's flying to be able to exercise their emergency procedures at all times. And Ibrahim, if you're comfortable here, let me first of all congratulate you on an amazing flight. Come over here by the airplane here. Let's just talk about this a little bit here as well. I'm gonna throw this mic on.
Yeah, no worries.
Just talk to me a little bit about what happened.
Honestly, man, so we just departed Buttonville on a ferry flight. Climbed about 2,000 feet. Once we were flying on route heading towards Buttonville, we started experiencing engine failure. It started sputtering. Once we turned back to Buttonville, or turned towards Buttonville, we knew we couldn't make the field. It was a really tough decision. At that point, we had to turn right for the field, or for the highway. Like I said, just remember your training from your instructor, guys. Picture your airspeed, pick the suitable landing, and follow those stuff. All those stuff make a difference. I had a great pilot with me, so no complaints right now. So I had a good crew with me, and like I said, I'm glad to be safe, and God is good all the time.
Yeah. So just talk to me a little bit about your experience. You took off. You were in the air for less than a minute. You had just done your power up. You run up. This is the first flight, maiden flight after its 100-hour inspection. You did your power. You had no problems with your run up, and on liftoff and departure. Just tell me, as you departed, tell me about your calls to air traffic control and what was going through your head.
So after we departed, we were talking to Toronto Center. We let them know the situation. They wanted to transfer over to Billy Bishop. Once we got transferred to Billy Bishop, that's when we noticed that we started to get that sputtering. Once we started that sputtering, we immediately returned back to Toronto Center. We tried to turn back. We declared a mayday, let them know the situation. They were great. They accommodated us as best as they could. Obviously, they can't do too much, and we just let them know we're heading for the highway. So that's pretty much it.
So now, when you first had that sputter, your heart probably leapt into your throat.
Pitch for airspeed, guys. Pitch for airspeed.
Okay, so tell me about your so pitch for airspeed. You want best glide?
Best glide immediately and plan your approach. Cause checks out the window.
So did you do a restart?
We tried to, once we picked the approach, and we picked where we're going to put our land, then we went to the cause check. So always make sure that you pick where you're going to land. You assume that the plane's not coming back, so that's why we always go through the plan the approach. Like I said, guys, just always make sure to stick to your flight training and follow everything. You think it might not happen to you. I never thought it would happen to me, but it did. And like I said, I'm happy that I'm safe. And like I said, always follow your instructor's rules and the flight training environment, and stay safe, guys. Always fly the airplane. Aviate, navigate, communicate.
Aviate, navigate, communicate. I love it. Okay, so you're a flight instructor. You've taught pilots emergency procedures. And so the first thing upon cause check on a engine failure, you're pitching for airspeed.
So throttle, idle, pitch for airspeed, plan your approach. When you plan the approach and you know where you're going to put it down and you know where it's going to go, then you can start going through some cause checks.
Okay, so now when you had your location, how did you pick this location? Did you have multiple sites?
We had no options. It was either this or the buildings. So like I said, I'm happy that this was the only option and it worked out.
You did an amazing job.
And like I said, the pilot I had with me was a great pilot too, so he helped me, assisted me through the whole situation. So I'm glad it all worked out, guys. Like I said, just remember your flight training and just always stay safe, guys. Like I said.
Absolutely. Perfect. Picture-perfect landing. You're not scratching the airplane. No injuries. 2 souls on board. Boss is happy. Traffic was uneventful. You were able to navigate. How much traffic was on the 407?
You know what? We just got cleared that as soon as we wanted to make committed to landing, started screening up on us. So like I said, someone was watching over us, and I'm glad they were because they ended up being successful and safe.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, and so I'm so glad. And this is a testimony to your training being put into practice. And you never know. This is something you always need to be thinking about when you're flying. You're going back to your home location. You can't stay over land, and you got to stay within gliding distance of an area. And you're always scanning for possible locations. And now, in terms of what transpired, did you have any power on landing, or did you?
Minimal power, not enough to maintain altitude at that point. It was just sputtering out. So as we descended down, power was decreasing more and more. So at that point, I just didn't want to overthink the power, so I just wanted to commit to landing and put the plane down. I think that's why fly. I focused more on the approach than the fixing the plane. That's why we were successful.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Now, and in terms of air traffic control, did you have any conversation with them?
Yeah, we declared an emergency with them. They were great. They accommodated us as best as we could. Like I said, we didn't want to talk too much because, like I said, always aviate, navigate, communicate, talk to them last, but make sure the plane's flying, make sure it's going where it wants to get to, and then it wants to communicate. Like I said, I'm a graduate of Sioux College, so I feel like my training there has really helped me too. So all I can say is thank you to all my instructors, my previous instructors that hammered into these procedures and stuff.
So for everybody who's a pilot, who wants to be a pilot, who dreams about flying, who loves flying, talk to them right now.
I'm in a Caribbean Flying Club. If you'd like to fly with us, we're taking on new students. Absolutely, like I said, you'll be trained properly.
Yeah, no kidding. But words of wisdom. Just, again, one more time. Tell me the story.
Guys, aviate, navigate, communicate. You fly that plane, no matter what, get it to where it wants to go, and then second, and then lastly, communicate.
Yeah. So we're going to put this airplane back up onto the...
Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you.
Awesome. Fantastic, buddy. So again, great job on these guys. They're in the process right now getting this airplane back up onto the flatbed. They're going to float it out of here and get it off the highway. We'll get lanes reopened. We've got one lane open right now. Traffic is getting by. Not a lot of delays in the area, but certainly a memorable and a day that Ibrahim will not soon forget. So he did an amazing job, extremely luckily. Yeah, absolutely. So I hope you could hear all that. And let's just watch these guys get this airplane up onto the trailer. Can't air systems. Yeah, Transport Canada was notified. They are not attending. They may follow up with outcomes. The AMAs and mechanics are here on scene as well. They've done the preliminary checks. We've done some preliminary checks as well. Full power, no water. Fuel was flowing on both tanks, and everything seems to be all right. So we'll see what they can do here. I know they gotta be careful. They don't want to scratch the airplane. What's that? Yeah. Okay. So again, this happened just before 11 o'clock this morning. Just taken off of Buttonville Airport. This was his main voyage after its 100-hour inspection. They're heading back to Grimsby, where their base is, and according to Abraham, they took off on runway 33, climbed out with no problems, made a left-hand turn back towards Toronto Island, switched off to Toronto Terminal, I guess, for clearances, and as soon as they got leveled off at a certain height, I guess about 1,000 feet above the ground, 2,000 feet sea level, or in that area, they switched from left to right tanks. It's a Piper Comanche Warrior, Piper Warrior, and the fuel was slightly higher in one tank than the other, and just like you always do, you switch from left to right as you're flying and keeping everything balanced. And as soon as they switched from one tank to the other, the engine began to sputter, and that's when they realized they were in trouble. They looked back to see whether or not they could make it back to Buttonville, and due to the altitude, location, and buildings in the way, that was not a possibility. They declared a mayday over the air traffic control frequencies, indicated they were going to be putting down on Highway 407 eastbound, which is what they did. And again, a textbook perfect landing here on Highway 407. The 404 is just behind me here, I believe, and they put down just beyond the bridge and before that sign, on the other side of that sign, off in the distance, and put it down here eastbound. and came to a stop. All traffic avoided. No other vehicles involved in any situation. No collisions at all. Pilots got out and made the calls. Obviously, we got plenty of phone calls regarding an airplane on the highway. Let's see if we can get this thing lifted up here. So just trying to find the center of gravity. Center of gravity is going to be somewhere it's a little bit back from the wing. Airplane's empty right now. There is still, half fuel or three-quarter fuel, I guess, in the airplane. And you got to just make a few adjustments here to make sure they get the airplane level and balanced. I'm going to change the strap. Yeah, if you want to follow along here, we'll keep it live here as long as we can. Certainly got other people interested in this situation here. You don't see this very often. Certainly media is interested in the circumstances here. I'm going to shut down here for a second, and I'll come back live in a second. So just stand by. I just want to release this video, and then we'll start again here in a second. So stand by. All right, here we go. Got the airplane all slung up here. Cranes on scene. You go back to my previous post, you can hear an interview from Abraham, who was the pilot of this airplane when it experienced an engine failure. Just make sure these guys can keep this airplane balanced. So certainly an interesting outcome here. Are you keeping it that direction? Who's the truck driver? Who's the truck driver here? Can you get a good jackknife going, or you can spin it? Okay, that's fine. That's going to be pretty. There you go, down. Yeah, that. What's the wheelbase from the front to the mains? Do you have a tape measure? Can you get a tape? We're going to get a tape measure. Let's check the wheelbase from the nose to the mains, and then because if it'll fit perfectly 90 degrees, the width. Well, you're 33 or 35 feet wide. Yeah. So okay. So here comes the tape measure. Let's
Can you hold? Can you move it over to
Can you, here, let's just measure. Okay, hold this back at the mains. What, centered on the mains? You're 80 inches. And how wide's the deck? Yeah, you got lots of room. Okay, if you can get this thing 90 degrees, it's going to be way better for everybody. It's going to be right on the middle deck here. Can you crank it and you get enough guys holding the wings, you can get this airplane 90 degrees to the trailer. And then you're going to be the shortest. So don't strap
the wing straight this way?
straight up in length with the airplane, with the trailer. It's 80 inches. It's and well, no, you're at an angle. Think about the angle here. Okay, so line it up with the center of the mains.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the center of the gear?
Okay.
Right there. 80 inches. Okay, so now look at the width of the trailer.
All right, yeah, I know what you're going for. I'm going to work. I'm all for it.
Okay, all right. So
It'll make things
so you're probably 96 wide. You're 97. You're 96 wide. So you got lots of room. So you just need more guys holding the wings. Can you get some guys to help here? Hold the airplane. Just take the pressure off it and spin it slowly. There you go. Live in action. All right, are you good there? You need help? You good? Okay, you know what to do? As long as the pressure's off, because then you got lots of room. Yeah. Beautiful. Watch the stacks. Just hold that nose there and drop it down. Now it doesn't. Well, we'll manage that. We'll manage that side. That doesn't matter. Just hold that. Give him a wheel chock. Just as long as that, it's going to want to come forward. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, press it. No, other way then. Other way. That doesn't help. No, it's not going out. Okay, now it's strapping and shocking. Yeah. But the pressure was all this way when it was coming down. Okay, look at that. It'll be a fun little escort off the highway. All right, that's it. Good job for the pilots. And I'll update you later.
Further communication to Aurora units. We've got 400 on it from 89.
So we got a bit of wide load escort going on here right now. Highway 407 is now reopened. Eastbound from the 404 around Woodbine is where we had this incident where an airplane had an engine failure. Emergency landing onto Highway 407 eastbound. We got the airplane loaded up onto this flatbed trailer and just escorting it off now to back to the airport for inspection. So something you don't see very often. Hey. You get by. Okay, perfect. No injuries in this situation. No damage to the airplane. No damage to any vehicles on the ground. Pilot was just leaving Buttonville Airport, took off runway 33 to the north, made a left-hand turn, climbed to circuit altitude, about 1,000 feet above the ground, and cleared off to Toronto downtown island on his way to Grimsby. And once they leveled off, switched tanks from left to right, which is standard procedure. Upon doing so, the airplane began sputtering, and pilots were not able to maintain altitude. They called it a mayday to air traffic control, indicated they were not able to make it back to the airport, and we're going to be doing a emergency landing, forced approach on Highway 407. Beautiful flat space right below them. The airplane had just come off of its 100-hour inspection. This was actually its maiden voyage after being inspected and giving a clean bill of health. Obviously, mechanics are very concerned about what happened when they switched tanks, and that will be part of the investigation now as they return this back to the shop and get it inspected for a second time. Pilots obviously very grateful. They aviated, navigated, and communicated as appropriate as they are trained in their flight training for emergency procedures. And in this situation, obviously, just a perfect outcome to a pretty stressful experience. You know, pilots train for this all the time. This is standard, part of standard procedures for any emergency procedures, and they did it flawlessly. Textbook, actually. So just making sure it all fits here. Taking up a couple of lanes as we're heading up the 40. Oh, there's the airplane just coming down here at Buttonville Airport. So that's how you're supposed to approach if you see the airplane just taking a final approach there. Unfortunately, this one didn't make it, but it's a beautiful thing that it is without damage. Make sure they get lots of room there. So we're just heading over to the Buttonville Airport, which is Highway 404, 16th Avenue, in that area. airplane conducted its forced approach on Highway 407 at Woodbine, just immediately south of the airport. And actually I can see the airport off my left here right now, just between the buildings. And as the pilot was experiencing the engine trouble, he looked back at the airport. He tried to make it back, evaluated his circumstances, obviously came to his attention and believed pretty quickly that that was not a possibility. With the power that he was not able to maintain, he was struggling to keep altitude. He was not able to maintain altitude, and conducted an emergency landing after calling in a mayday to air traffic control, advising him of his circumstances, and was able to conduct a perfect emergency landing on Highway 407. There were two pilots in the airplane at the time, both of them very experienced. Both had about 700 hours of flight time. The left seat pilot in charge was a flight instructor, multi-IFR instrument and everything, and was well rehearsed and well versed in emergency procedures and conducted them flawlessly. So it really worked out beautifully. Oh, he's really close. Can you just stop for a second? That guy is really close to the trees. Lima double two, do you copy? Okay, if you see any signs anywhere near the curb there, we got to stop and just walk it through, because that was very tight.
Bravo 202, go ahead. 10-4.
Just leapfrog in front. I'll take your spot if we get another one like this. Go ahead of me.
Go ahead. Markham,